las adoro.
Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. If you're a fan of creative, rustic garden decor and love the idea of transforming old, forgotten items into beautiful pieces of art, you're in the right place. In today's video, we're diving into 20 incredible DIY garden sculptures made from upcycled materials, things you might already have lying around your home or garage. We're talking about everything from heart-shaped barbed wire sculptures to unique bird nests made from broken clay pipes. These projects are not only super fun but also give your garden that charming vintage look you've been dreaming of. So grab your tools, get ready for some outdoor creativity, and let's turn those old materials into something beautiful. Let's get started. Tucked in a sunny corner of the garden, where time seems to move a little slower, stands a planter tower unlike any other. This whimsical creation rises from the earth like a story told in layers, each brick, each boot, holding a chapter of charm and character. Weathered old bricks, mottled with moss and softened by decades of sun and rain, are stacked with gentle irregularity. Between the layers of rustic masonry, vintage leather boots have been tucked like secret compartments, their worn soles and faded laces hinting at lives once lived, places once walked. But now they bloom. Each boot bursts with trailing petunias, cheerful marigolds, or wild strawberries spilling over the tops as though the plants have taken up residence and claimed the space as their own. The aged leather cradles the roots gently, giving each flower a cradle of comfort amidst the brickwork. The textures, cracked brick, scuffed leather, and the lush green of new life, blend into a rustic harmony that feels both nostalgic and delightfully inventive. This planter tower isn't just practical vertical gardening, it's a piece of countryside art. Birds land to peek curiously, bees hum around the blossoms, and every passerby slows to admire its creative spirit. It's not polished or perfect, but that's the magic. It's a gentle reminder that beauty often grows from what we've already lived through, stacked gently with care and given a little sunshine to bloom again. In the heart of a vibrant garden, where sunlight filters through the trees and the air is thick with the scent of blooming flowers, a stunning and radiant sculpture stands tall, an exquisite sunburst made from broken mirror shards, anchored on a rustic wooden base. This unique creation, crafted by hand from repurposed materials, brings both a touch of whimsy and a brilliant play of light to the garden, capturing the essence of the sun in its raw, natural beauty. The sunburst sculpture begins with a solid circular wooden base, its rough texture and worn edges evoking the timeless charm of reclaimed wood. The natural grain of the wood is still visible, adding an earthy warmth to the piece, grounding the sculpture in the rustic landscape of the garden. This sturdy base serves as the heart of the sun, from which the dazzling rays will radiate. The rays of the sun are formed from broken mirror shards, each piece carefully selected and arranged with artistic intent. The shards, once parts of shattered mirrors, now serve as glistening fragments of light, catching the sun's glow and reflecting it back into the garden in a dazzling array of patterns. Each shard, irregular in shape but purposeful in placement, creates a radiant burst that fans out from the wooden center. As sunlight strikes the mirrors, the sculpture transforms into a living, shifting play of reflections, sparkling like stardust as it dances across the garden's foliage, creating shimmering highlights on the leaves, flowers, and pathways. The broken mirrors, with their fractured edges, add a sense of texture and depth to the sunburst, enhancing its dynamic energy. The contrast between the cool, reflective surfaces of the mirrors and the warm, earthy tones of the wood creates a striking balance, adding both rustic charm and a touch of contemporary art to the space. In the heart of a serene garden, where the soft rustling of leaves and the hum of nature fill the air, stands a whimsical yet sturdy sculpture, a spinning windmill crafted from wooden spoons and pallet wood. This rustic garden feature, both functional and decorative, brings a sense of classic countryside charm to the outdoor space, blending creativity and simplicity in the most delightful way. The base of the windmill is formed from weathered pallet wood, each piece aged by time and exposure to the elements. The pallet boards, once part of a practical framework for shipping, are now reimagined as the foundation for this charming sculpture. Their worn surfaces, with splinters and faded paint, add character and texture to the piece, giving it an authentic rustic appeal. The windmill structure rises from the pallet base, sturdy and well-constructed, standing tall and proud against the backdrop of the garden. The blades of the windmill are ingeniously crafted from an array of wooden spoons, each spoon carefully attached to the windmill's frame. The spoons, once humble kitchen tools, are repurposed to create a dynamic design, with their curved handles forming the perfect shape for spinning in the wind. The spoons catch the breeze, turning gracefully with each gust, their smooth, polished surfaces catching the sunlight and adding a touch of whimsy to the sculpture. As the windmill spins, it seems to come to life, the spoons twirling in motion like the blades of a traditional windmill, but with a playful twist. The movement adds a sense of energy to the garden, and the soft whirring of the blades in the wind creates a peaceful, soothing atmosphere, evoking the calm and charm of a rural countryside setting. In the heart of a lush cottage garden, where vines tumble over picket fences and blooms nod in the breeze, a quiet guardian stands watch, a garden angel crafted not from marble or metal, but from the remnants of well-worn tools and forgotten things. Her wings, once the sturdy tines of a rusty rake, now fan outward with a gentle curve, resembling the feathers of a heavenly sentinel. Time has kissed the metal with a soft patina of rust, giving it an aged dignity that feels right at home among the wild roses and swaying herbs. Her body is a weathered wooden post, once part of an old fence or barn beam, its surface lined with cracks and silvery grain worn smooth by years of rain and sun. The imperfections in the wood give her a sense of wisdom, as if she stood there forever, listening to the secrets whispered by the breeze. Atop her simple form, a tarnished silver spoon forms a delicate halo, glinting softly in the sunlight like a wink from above. It's curved just so, catching light and casting a subtle shimmer that draws the eye gently upward. This handmade sculpture brings a soulful presence to the garden, not loud or showy, but full of rustic charm and tender creativity. She reminds you that beauty doesn't always come from something new, sometimes it's born from the things we leave behind, repurposed with care and love. Visitors pause in front of her, smile, and feel a little lighter. In her quiet way, she blesses the garden, a symbol of peace, creativity, and the enduring grace of second chances. As the sun dips below the horizon and the garden softens into twilight, a gentle glow begins to flicker from the corner of the patio. It's not from a store-bought lantern or an electric fixture, but from a handmade sculpture born of humble materials and a touch of magic. Tin cans, their surfaces aged and dimpled with time, are stacked with care alongside clear mason jars, each holding the warm flame of a candle within. Together, they rise like a tower of light, rustic and charming, casting dancing shadows onto the nearby leaves and trellis vines. Each tin can tell a quiet story, some with punched-out patterns, hearts, stars, or simple dots, that project their delicate shapes in light onto the garden floor. The mason jars, with their old-fashioned curves and faint bubbles in the glass, cradle tea lights that burn steadily, protected from the wind. Together, these simple vessels glow with life, their arrangement creating a sculpture that feels both handmade and enchanted. The structure is balanced not only in form but in feeling, a mix of nostalgia and coziness, like a campfire tale waiting to be told. As night settles in and the stars begin to blink overhead, this lantern sculpture becomes the soul of the garden's evening. It invites you to linger a little longer on the bench, sip something warm, and listen to the sounds of crickets and soft rustling leaves. It's not just decoration, it's atmosphere, memory, and heartlight, flickering softly in the growing dark. Nestled among tall grasses and swaying blooms, a bouquet unlike any other rises from the earth, delicate, timeless, and wonderfully unexpected. These aren't ordinary flowers, but blossoms crafted from a collection of mismatched antique plates, each one lovingly repurposed and arranged to mimic the soft curves and colors of petals. Mounted on slender metal rods, they sway gently in the breeze, their porcelain surfaces catching the sunlight in soft glints that echo the sparkle of dew at dawn. The plates themselves tell stories of past dinner tables and family gatherings, chipped edges, faded floral prints, delicate gilded rims, and patterns that span generations. One may be a fine china saucer from the 1940s, another a rustic enamelware piece with a worn blue border. Together, they bloom in layers, their varying sizes and hues creating depth and movement, like a garden in full swing. Some are layered like roses, others arranged in daisy-like whorls, each unique in design and full of character. Staggered throughout the garden bed, they peek between lavender tufts and wild zinnias, blending the man-made with the natural in perfect harmony. The nostalgic charm of these porcelain blooms evokes memories of grandmother's kitchens and lazy summer lunches, adding a touch of whimsy and heart to the rustic setting. As you walk the garden path, these vintage plate flowers feel like little surprises, unexpected moments of beauty standing tall, reminding us that even the forgotten can bloom again. Tucked beneath the dappled shade of a mossy oak, a wide-eyed guardian keeps silent watch over the garden. This isn't a creature of flight, but a lovingly handmade owl totem sculpted from stacked log slices and accented with thoughtfully chosen wooden features. Each round, sanded log slice forms a part of the owl's sturdy body, the natural rings and rough bark edges giving it character, like feathers ruffled by wind or age-old stories etched into its form. The face is the true heart of the sculpture. Two wide, circular wood pieces serve as eyes, each inset with smaller discs or acorn caps to form curious pupils that seem to follow you gently as you pass. A sharp triangle of carved wood serves as the beak, nestled snugly between the eyes. Feathered wings are hinted at by overlapping bark pieces or driftwood slats, curling slightly away from the sides as if caught mid-stretch. Every element is made from natural materials, twigs, bark, and weathered wood, that blend effortlessly with the woodland textures around it. This owl totem stands tall, anchored in the earth but filled with a sense of quiet wisdom. Surrounded by soft moss, low ferns, and fallen leaves, it feels like something out of a storybook, part sculpture, part forest spirit. Whether placed near a garden bench or hidden along a winding path, it invites a sense of wonder. Children may stop to wave. Gardeners might nod in greeting. It watches and waits, a rustic sentinel crafted from the woods themselves, reminding us that nature sees, hears, and remembers. Tucked into a cozy corner of the garden, where the path turns quietly beneath a canopy of vines, stands a bench that seems to have grown right out of the earth itself. This charming little seat isn't from a store or catalog, it's a heartfelt creation, assembled from 2 time-worn wooden crates and a solid old tree stump, each piece carrying its own quiet history. Together, they form a rustic bench sculpture that feels both functional and poetic, as though nature and craftsmanship shook hands. The tree stump, moss-speckled and cracked with age, serves as one sturdy leg, grounding the bench with its raw organic shape. The other end is supported by one of the upturned crates, its slatted wood faded from sun and rain, the occasional nail head rusted to a lovely patina. Laid across the top, another crate flattened into a wide plank acts as the bench seat, bearing the scars of old labels, scratches, and maybe even a few spilled garden secrets. The wood smells faintly of earth and sun, and its surface is soft with age but strong enough to hold your weight. All around it, ivy trails along the edges, wild thyme creeps nearby, and bees hum lazily through lavender blooms. The bench invites a pause, to sip morning coffee, tie your gardening boots, or simply listen to the wind in the leaves. It doesn't shout for attention, but its humble, aged charm speaks volumes. This isn't just a bench. It's a resting place with a story, a little patch of peace handcrafted from things once forgotten, now found again in the quiet heart of your garden. In the heart of the garden, where wildflowers sway in the breeze and the air is thick with the scent of blossoms, a whimsical bird bath sits nestled amidst the greenery. This isn't your typical garden feature, but rather a delightful creation made from a broken wooden chair frame and a chipped ceramic bowl, each piece holding memories of days gone by. Together, they form a rustic, vintage-inspired bird bath that brings a sense of charm and character to its surroundings. The old wooden chair frame, once part of a favorite porch seat, now serves as the sturdy base for the bird bath. Its legs, weathered and worn, have taken on a beautiful weathered patina, and the backrest, though cracked and faded, still carries a quiet elegance. Its original finish has softened over time, but its bones remain strong, offering a solid foundation for the ceramic bowl to rest gently atop. The bowl, once part of a beloved set now scattered with chips and cracks, is the perfect vessel for the birds to come and drink, bathe, and play. Its floral pattern, faint but still visible beneath the glaze, adds a touch of nostalgia, blending seamlessly with the wildflowers that surround it. The imperfections in the bowl only add to its character, making it feel like a cherished treasure unearthed in the garden. Placed among the tall grasses, the bird bath becomes a charming focal point, a place where nature and creativity meet. Birds flit and splash in the water, while the frame of the old chair seems to hold space for quiet contemplation. It's not just a bird bath. It's a symbol of the beauty that can be found in things once discarded, repurposed with care to add a touch of rustic magic to the garden. Nestled at the edge of the garden, where the wild grasses grow tall and the shadows of trees stretch long, a delicate figure stands, a small deer sculpture crafted entirely from gnarled branches and twigs. This handcrafted creation seems as though it has stepped straight out of the forest, embodying the spirit of the wild and whispering of untamed places. Its form is elegant yet raw, a testament to nature's artistry. The deer's body is made from thick, twisted branches, each one carefully selected and positioned to capture the graceful curve of its back and legs. The branches, weathered and smooth from years in the elements, intertwine to form a fluid silhouette, the natural twists adding texture and character to the animal's shape. Delicate twigs branch out from the body to form slender, lifelike antlers that stretch toward the sky, their jagged edges reminiscent of the branches of ancient trees reaching upward for sunlight. Standing tall among ferns and wildflowers, the deer sculpture blends seamlessly into the natural surroundings. The twisted wood, though intricately crafted, retains its raw rustic beauty, giving the sculpture a sense of timelessness. It feels as though it's been there for years, a quiet observer of the changing seasons, its form blending perfectly with the forest-like atmosphere of the garden. This handmade deer sculpture doesn't just decorate the garden, it brings it to life. As sunlight filters through the trees, casting dappled shadows across the branches, the deer seems to come alive, a woodland spirit carved from nature itself. It's a gentle reminder that the natural world, with all its untamed beauty, can be brought into our spaces in the most unexpected and enchanting ways. In the heart of a lush, blooming garden, a whimsical figure sits quietly, taking in the warmth of the sun. It's a seated garden sculpture unlike any other, built from a collection of old terracotta pots, each stacked carefully to create the form of a figure at rest. The pots, their surfaces faded by years of exposure to sun and rain, create a rustic, earthy body that blends seamlessly with the natural surroundings. The warmth of the terracotta contrasts beautifully with the soft greens and bursts of color from nearby flowers. The figure's torso is shaped from 3 or 4 stacked pots, their rounded edges giving the illusion of a serene sitting pose. Each pot, weathered and chipped, adds character, its surface worn with age, yet still sturdy enough to hold the figure's form. The lower pots form the figure's legs, creating a grounded, solid base, while the upper pots shape the body in a relaxed, almost meditative position. But it's the rope arms that truly bring the sculpture to life. Twisted, thick strands of rope are artfully draped over the figure's shoulders, looping around the pots to create arms that seem both sturdy and soft, an interesting contrast to the hard clay of the pots. The rope, with its natural fibers and rustic texture, adds an organic, tactile quality to the piece, making it feel both crafted and alive. Surrounded by flowers and trailing vines, this seated figure appears to be a quiet guardian of the garden. It doesn't demand attention, but its charm lies in the way it blends with its surroundings, as though it belongs there, watching over the blooms and listening to the wind. With every passing moment, the figure seems more a part of the garden, as timeless as the pots it's made from and as rooted in the earth as the plants that grow around it. It's a perfect marriage of rustic charm and nature, a piece of art that feels at once human and otherworldly. Tucked into a corner of the garden, where the wild greenery and stones weave a tapestry of nature's beauty, sits a vintage treasure, an old rusty toolbox transformed into a vibrant flowerbed planter sculpture. Once a practical tool for stashing screws and wrenches, this weathered relic now carries the soft hues of blooming flowers, bringing an unexpected burst of color to its rugged surface. The rust that once signaled the passing of time now serves as a backdrop for the vibrant life growing within. The toolbox itself is beautifully worn. Its metal sides, once gleaming, now carry the texture of decades spent outdoors, the rusted edges softened by time and weather. Its handle, still sturdy, arches like a gentle curve over the flowers, which spill out of the open lid in a riot of blooms, petunias, pansies, and lavender in delicate shades of purple, pink, and yellow. The flowers, as if to make up for the toolbox's former purpose, are alive with vibrant energy, their petals reaching toward the sunlight as if finding new purpose in this repurposed container. Around the edges, the worn corners of the toolbox act as the perfect vessel, cradling the flowers while a few stray vines twist up through the holes in the metal, adding an organic touch to the otherwise industrial structure. The contrast between the rough metal and the delicate petals is striking, reminding us of the beauty that can be found in repurposing the old and forgotten. The toolbox sits among a scattering of stones, its rusted metal harmonizing with the earth tones of the surrounding rocks, while ferns and creeping ivy grow nearby, adding to the rustic atmosphere. This simple yet bold sculpture invites a second look, transforming what was once an ordinary object into a statement piece full of life. It speaks of transformation, of finding beauty in things long past their prime, and of the effortless harmony between man-made materials and the natural world. Nestled within a garden filled with vibrant blooms and winding paths, an enchanting and whimsical sculpture catches the eye, a cascading teacup display that flows like water, but with a twist of rustic charm. Imagine a series of delicate vintage teacups, their porcelain surfaces chipped and faded with age, suspended in mid-air. Each cup, once a treasured item at a quaint tea party, now forms a cascading waterfall of ceramics, creating a visual feast that captures the essence of both beauty and nostalgia. The teacups, gently stacked one atop the other, are affixed to a hidden pipe that allows them to flow seamlessly from one to the next. While the cups don't actually hold water, their arrangement mimics the motion of water pouring from one vessel to the next, the fluidity of the design creating a sense of movement. The chipped edges and faded floral patterns on each teacup tell the story of time spent in a kitchen cupboard or at an afternoon tea, adding layers of history to this unexpected garden feature. As you approach, the cascading teacups seem to come alive, their delicate handles and curved rims flowing from one to the next like a graceful stream. The cups, each slightly askew from the other, form a gentle spiral of teacups in midair, their spouts directed downward in playful arcs, as if caught in a moment of whimsical magic. Surrounded by wildflowers, soft moss, and trailing vines, this teacup sculpture feels like something straight out of a fairy tale. The rustic, chipped ceramics bring an old-world charm to the space, while the movement of the cups, ever so slight, gives the impression that the garden itself is alive with stories. The playful, unexpected nature of this piece invites both delight and wonder, a reminder that beauty often comes from the most unlikely places. Here, in this little corner of the garden, teacups flow like water, turning an everyday object into something extraordinary. In the heart of a sunlit garden, where rows of flowers sway and vegetables ripen under the golden rays, stands a figure both whimsical and classic, a rustic scarecrow crafted from old wooden crutches and burlap. This isn't just any garden protector, but a stylized, charming figure, made from forgotten items given new life in the spirit of countryside tradition. It stands proudly, arms outstretched, as if ready to greet the winds and keep watch over the harvest. The base of the scarecrow is formed from the sturdy, weathered crutches, their natural wood grain still visible beneath layers of age. The crutches serve as both the arms and legs of the figure, positioned in a welcoming, open stance. Their worn surfaces and gentle curves give the scarecrow an old-world charm, as though it has been standing in the same garden for generations, guarding crops and comforting visitors with its simple, rustic presence. Draped over the frame is a cloak of burlap, its rough texture flowing loosely around the scarecrow's body. The burlap is frayed at the edges, showing the effects of weathered days spent under the sun. A straw hat sits crookedly atop the scarecrow's head, adding a touch of playful character to the figure. The hat, woven from dried grasses, has the perfect imperfect shape, perched just so, as if it's seen many seasons of sunshine and storms. The body is filled with hay or straw that spills from the burlap, adding volume and texture to the scarecrow's form. Surrounded by tall sunflowers, climbing vines, and freshly mown grass, this scarecrow feels perfectly at home. It stands not just as a guardian of the garden, but as a reminder of simpler times, when handmade creations had a quiet, dependable charm. Its rustic appeal is a delightful contrast to the vibrant blooms around it, and its sturdy presence offers a sense of peace, as if the garden is in good hands. This classic scarecrow, crafted from crutches and burlap, captures the essence of the countryside, blending old-fashioned craftsmanship with a whimsical twist of character. In the corner of a lush, vibrant garden, where roses climb and ivy creeps with wild abandon, stands a striking piece of vintage charm, a repurposed antique iron bed headboard transformed into a stunning plant trellis. The headboard, once part of a graceful old bed, now serves as a delicate support for climbing flowers, adding an element of rustic elegance to the garden's outdoor space. The iron frame of the headboard, with its intricate patterns and worn details, has weathered years of use but still retains its timeless beauty. Its ornate design, featuring curving scrolls and delicate loops, provides the perfect framework for plants to weave their way up. The aged iron, with its faded patina and subtle rust, offers a wonderful contrast against the greenery that clings to it, creating a harmonious balance between the past and the present. The vintage bed frame, once a symbol of rest and relaxation, now brings life and energy to the garden, supporting the delicate vines that climb toward the sun. Climbing roses, their soft petals in shades of pink, white, and red, twine around the iron bars, their tendrils winding up toward the sky. The fragrance of the blooms fills the air, adding an extra layer of romance to the already picturesque scene. Ivy, with its dark green leaves and glossy finish, mingles with the roses, creating a lush tapestry of color and texture. Together, the plants form a living sculpture, adding layers of depth and natural beauty to the vintage iron headboard. Set against a backdrop of soft greenery, this repurposed trellis becomes not just a functional garden feature, but an artful statement. The romantic, rustic vibe of the piece evokes a sense of timelessness, as if it has always belonged in this space. Whether bathed in the golden light of the morning sun or the soft glow of twilight, in the heart of a thriving garden, where flowers bloom in a riot of colors and the hum of bees fills the air, stands a beautifully crafted and functional sculpture, a natural insect hotel made from stacked logs, bamboo, and twigs. This rustic garden feature not only adds a touch of charm but also plays a vital role in supporting local wildlife, offering a safe haven for beneficial insects that help maintain the health and balance of the garden ecosystem. The structure begins with carefully stacked logs, each one positioned at varying angles to create a layered, textured appearance. The logs, weathered by time, with their rough bark and natural imperfections, form the base of this unique insect habitat. Their sturdy composition provides both shelter and stability, offering a perfect nesting site for a variety of creatures. The irregular surfaces and hollowed-out centers of the logs create ideal spaces for insects like ladybugs, solitary bees, and beetles to settle and thrive. Between the logs, gaps are filled with bamboo canes, their smooth surfaces and hollow interiors providing perfect tunnels for insects to burrow into. The bamboo adds an interesting visual element to the sculpture, with its tall, slender stalks peeking out between the logs, inviting curiosity and admiration. Twigs are placed throughout the structure, further enhancing the habitat and providing additional nooks and crannies for insects to explore. As the insects take shelter within the log and bamboo spaces, they also contribute to the garden's overall health. Beneficial insects, such as pollinators and natural pest controllers, find refuge in this eco-friendly sculpture, helping to promote a healthy garden environment. The sculpture serves as both a decorative feature and a valuable ecological tool, reminding us of the importance of nurturing the natural world around us. Surrounded by blooming plants, tall grasses, and the soft rustle of leaves in the breeze, nestled in a cozy corner of the garden, where sunlight dapples through the trees and the scent of fresh herbs and flowers lingers in the air, sits a charming garden cat sculpture, whimsically crafted from old shovel heads and various garden tool parts. This rustic, vintage-inspired piece is not just a delightful addition to the garden, but also a tribute to the beauty of upcycling, blending functionality with artistry in a truly unique way. The cat's form emerges gracefully from the weathered metal of old shovels, their worn, rusty surfaces giving the figure an endearing character. The shovel heads serve as the cat's body and tail, their curves mimicking the fluid lines of a cat curled in a relaxed, sitting position. The rusted metal catches the light, creating a soft glow that accentuates the cat's natural curves, making it seem as though it's almost alive, perched serenely in its spot. To shape the cat's head and ears, parts of old garden tools, perhaps a trowel handle for the nose and smaller tool heads for the ears, are skillfully arranged, adding fine detail to the overall sculpture. The handles, rough and worn with age, form the graceful arc of the cat's tail, curving upward with a sense of playfulness and movement. Each piece, once a humble tool used for gardening, now plays a role in creating a stunning and whimsical figure that seems to belong in a magical garden setting. The face, though abstract, captures the essence of a cat's curious yet content expression. Small, creative touches, like the use of old screws or nails for eyes, add further charm to the piece, bringing it to life in a way that feels both imaginative and deeply connected to its surroundings. Set among flowering plants, creeping vines, and a mix of textured foliage, this sitting cat sculpture feels like a gentle guardian of the garden. It adds a sense of peaceful playfulness, as if the garden has been adopted by this quiet, sturdy feline companion. In a sun-dappled corner of a lush garden, where the scent of blooming flowers and the hum of bees fill the air, stands a whimsical and practical garden marker sculpture, a creative tree-shaped board adorned with vintage book spines. This unique piece, blending rustic charm with literary inspiration, adds both character and functionality to the garden, turning plant labels into an artistic statement. The tree-shaped board serves as the sculpture's sturdy foundation, its branches and trunk outlined in a natural, organic silhouette. Crafted from reclaimed wood or an old wooden board, the tree shape feels rooted in nature, its weathered surface offering a rustic texture that complements the garden's earthy atmosphere. The wood has been carefully cut and shaped into a stylized tree, with a gentle curve to the trunk and delicate branching limbs that reach outward, like the embrace of a welcoming forest. Attached to the branches are the vintage book spines, each one unique, with titles and fonts that harken back to a time when books were treasures, not just tools of knowledge. These spines, once part of forgotten novels or well-worn classics, are now repurposed as garden markers, each one serving to identify a plant or flower in the garden. The spines are glued securely to the tree's branches, with each one spaced thoughtfully to create a sense of balance and beauty. The titles on the spines evoke a sense of nostalgia, with classic names like The Secret Garden or Wuthering Heights, adding a poetic touch to the garden's design. The worn, faded covers of the books bring a vintage quality to the piece, as the book's age and use tell their own stories. The colors and textures of the spines, some faded and others vibrant with time, create a rich tapestry of hues that contrast beautifully with the natural wood of the tree. The result is a visually striking and imaginative garden marker that doesn't just serve a practical purpose, but also doubles as a decorative sculpture that enhances the rustic beauty of the outdoor space. Nestled among a bed of soft wildflowers, where the gentle breeze carries the sweet scent of blooms and the sounds of nature fill the air, stands a heart-shaped sculpture made from twisted old barbed wire. This striking piece of rustic art, with its raw and weathered texture, adds a unique and intimate charm to the garden, effortlessly blending the rugged beauty of metal with the tender symbolism of love. The sculpture begins with lengths of barbed wire, once used to mark boundaries or fences, now repurposed into delicate yet bold, heart-shaped frames. Each strand of wire is carefully twisted and shaped by hand, with the sharp pointed ends forming the outer edges of the heart, creating a dramatic contrast against the softer curves of the form. The barbs, once harsh and functional, are now softened in their arrangement, transforming into decorative accents that add a layer of texture and depth to the sculpture. The heart-shaped frame stands proudly among the wildflowers, its rustic metal form drawing attention and evoking a sense of connection to the land. The barbed wire, with its weathered and slightly rusted patina, adds an aged vintage charm, while the heart shape infuses the sculpture with a timeless, romantic appeal. It serves as a poignant symbol of love and resilience, an artistic expression of beauty that grows from the most unexpected materials. The garden surrounding the heart-shaped sculpture is alive with vibrant wildflowers, their soft petals and bright colors creating a gentle contrast against the rough edges of the metal. As the sun sets and the light begins to fade, the barbed wire sculpture takes on a warm golden hue, casting long shadows across the garden floor and filling the space with a quiet, peaceful ambience. It stands as a reminder that beauty can be found in the most unlikely places, that love can be crafted from the harshest of materials. This heart-shaped barbed wire sculpture not only adds a unique touch to the garden, but also evokes deep feelings of nostalgia, strength, and affection. Placed among the wildflowers, in a quiet, shaded corner of the garden, where the earth seems to hum with life and the scent of damp soil mingles with the perfume of wildflowers, a unique and heartwarming sculpture comes to life. Made from broken clay drain pipes, the scene depicts a group of birds nesting, an artistic tribute to nature's gentle rhythms, crafted from repurposed materials. The earthy tones of the clay, weathered over time, blend seamlessly with the natural surroundings, adding a sense of rustic tranquility to the garden. The broken drain pipes, once part of a functional system, have been transformed into an intricate work of art. The pieces, varied in size and shape, are carefully arranged to form the nests of the birds. Some pipes are stacked to create the hollow spaces where the birds would rest, while others are placed horizontally, creating perches for the feathered figures. Each pipe retains its original texture, with cracks and chips that tell the story of its former life, now imbued with new purpose. Inside the hollow spaces, small clay birds, lovingly sculpted and positioned, appear to be perched on the edges or nestled within the pipes. Their detailed features, while simple, evoke a sense of warmth and tenderness, as if they are part of a living, breathing scene. The clay birds are delicately placed, their wings gently outstretched as if waiting for the arrival of their young, adding a feeling of peace and anticipation to the sculpture. The combination of the rough, rustic texture of the clay pipes and the smooth, weathered surface of the bird figures creates a balanced contrast, highlighting both the beauty of the natural world and the ingenuity of upcycling. Surrounded by soft greenery and bright blooms, this nesting bird sculpture adds a sense of timeless charm to the garden. The earthy tones of the clay blend perfectly with the landscape. And there you have it, 20 creative and rustic garden sculptures that are sure to add a touch of charm to your outdoor space. I hope these ideas inspire you to get crafty and start repurposing items you already have around the house. Whether you choose to make a sunburst from broken mirrors or a bird bath from an old chair, the possibilities are endless when it comes to upcycling. If you enjoyed today's video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below letting me know which project you're most excited to try, and don't forget to subscribe for more DIY inspiration. Thanks for watching, and I can't wait to see what you create in your garden. See you next time.
Casa d'oro.